All right, let's talk about something that's really shaking up the world of software development. It's this idea that you can build things based more on a feeling or a vibe than on writing every single line of code yourself. It's called vibe coding, and honestly, it might just change everything. So let's dive right in.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. What if instead of typing out endless lines of cryptic code, you could just talk to your computer? You describe the app you want, and it just appears. That's the huge, game-changing promise behind vibe coding.
So what is it exactly? Well, vibe coding is where you act as the director. You give the instructions in plain English, describing what you want, and an AI model becomes your tireless coder. It generates the code, it fixes the code, it does the heavy lifting. You guide, it writes. Okay, so let's really break this down. What does this new way of working actually mean? And how is it so different from how we've been building software for, decades? Think about it like this. On one side, you have traditional coding. It's manual, line by painful line, where every single semicolon and bracket has to be perfect. On the other side, vibe coding. It's all about high-level instructions. The whole focus shifts from, did I type this syntax correctly, to, is this the idea I'm trying to express? Now, this term was really popularized by Andrej Karpathy, who's a huge name in the AI space, and he put it perfectly. He said we should let the AI handle all the tedious, mechanical work. That frees us humans up to focus on what we're actually good at, the big picture direction, the creative intent, and that critical human judgment that, let's be honest, no AI can replicate. And when you have this new partnership between a human and an AI, it unlocks something absolutely incredible. And that one thing is speed, the kind of speed that completely changes the game. Just think about what this means for bringing an idea to life. That minimum viable product, the first version of your app that used to take weeks, maybe even months to build, we're now talking about getting a working version up and running in just a few days. And what if you just want to test a crazy idea, a proof of concept? What used to take days of work can now be knocked out in a matter of hours. The time it takes to go from idea to reality is shrinking like crazy. So who wins in this new world? Well, pretty much everyone. Startups can innovate way faster. Hackathon teams can build much more ambitious projects. And get this, even designers and product managers, people who might not be expert coders, can now build functional prototypes. It's really democratizing the act of creation. Okay, so this all sounds absolutely incredible, right? A revolution in how fast we can build things, making it accessible to more people. Maybe a little too good to be true. And that, of course, leads us to the big, inevitable question, what's the catch? Because moving this fast, well, it definitely comes with its own set of risks. So it's time for a little reality check on vibe coding. When you dig into it, there are really 4 major challenges we have to be super aware of. The code quality can be questionable. There can be subtle bugs hiding where you'd least expect them. The overall architecture might be weak, and it can create this fuzzy, unclear sense of who actually owns and understands the code. First up, let's talk quality. Just because the code runs does not mean it's good code. AI-generated stuff can be a real mess. It can be inconsistent, super hard for a human to read later, and it often completely misses industry best practices. It works for now, but it might be a ticking time bomb. And that leads to an even scarier problem: hidden bugs. Look, a small bug in a simple little app is one thing. It's annoying. But a subtle, hidden bug in a system that's handling people's money or their personal data or system security, that's not just annoying. That can be an absolute catastrophe. So, does that mean vibe coding is a total dead end, a bad idea? No, not at all. The secret, the real key, is to stop thinking of the AI as a magic wand and start thinking of it as your co-pilot. This is probably the best mental model you can have. Your AI, it's like a brand new junior developer. It's super fast, it's incredibly enthusiastic, and it'll write tons of code for you. But it's also naive. It lacks experience. It needs a senior developer, that's you, to guide it, to review its work, to catch its mistakes, and to make sure it's not building a house of cards that's gonna collapse. So what does that supervision actually look like in practice? Well, it's a process. Step 1, the AI generates that first draft of code. But then, and this is crucial, step 2, a human developer has to come in, review it, and refactor it, which is just a fancy way of saying they clean it up and make it maintainable for the long haul. After that, step 3, a human adds all the deep, comprehensive tests the AI probably forgot. And finally, an experienced engineer has to validate that the whole system architecture makes sense. The AI is just the starting point.
This means you have to be really smart about where you use vibe coding. It's an amazing tool for things like prototypes, MVPs, and internal tools, areas where speed is everything and the stakes are lower. But for the really critical stuff, your core infrastructure, your security systems, anything that processes payments, you have to be way, way more careful. And this is the most important thing to remember. At the end of the day, the AI is not responsible for the code it writes. You are. You still own it. You're the one on the hook to make sure it's secure, that it's reliable, and that it's well built.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Vibe coding is not about replacing engineers, not at all. It's about changing what engineers focus on. Your job isn't just about hammering out lines of code anymore. It's about having the vision, guiding the AI, and making the smart, high-level architectural decisions that lead to truly great software.
This is where we're headed. This is the future of how we create things. A future where your big ideas matter so much more than your typing speed. So the real question is, are you ready to change your focus? And what are you going to build with it?